Hello again, sweetie.
The lieutenant nods. Wait, who's Sweetie?
Why, you are, officer. You're a handsome man, officer, with your mustache and your chiseled jaw and that silly dimple on your chin. Take heart, officer. You must forgive me. I'm getting so scatterbrained. I'm Lena. My husband Morel and I are staying with our...
This Lena is wacky enough for the motley crew. Hire her on the spot.
Of course, dear.
You see a heavy steel door with a... You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. What?
The winch. Outside. In the backyard.
Well, if there was a winch, I suppose we could look into it. Gart is the person to ask about.
The cobalt blue surface. Old cobalt paint. Rough on the finger. It leads to a side building. Adjacent to this one. The old building next to this. The door does not.
Can I help you? Mine? No, it belongs to the work.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why.
I thought as much. And are you the only party?
Well, yes.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. Prod at him and find out.
What do you need them?
It concerns the case. Please, cop.
Just bring them back once you're done, please. Yes, have you got it? A lot. A lot. Well... Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? What thing? Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. They come here in the evenings. Dumb.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need it. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry. Even...
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere. They probably fucking killed that guy or something.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance.
Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been... Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. but my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key. What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later.
Another thing, yes? Absolutely out of the...
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger. Then we sing this place to shit.
Hello again, sweetie. Yes, dear.
A paraplegic is someone with limited or no ability to use the lower half of their body. Paraplegia is caused by spinal cord injuries, like falling from a great height, or...
That's quite all right. I'm used to people asking questions. I know they're thinking of, whatever do you mean? Sequence killers? Oh my. But
A partner who'll need you to help him get a corpse down from a tree. I can assure you with absolute certainty, there are no sequence killings taking place in Martinez.
Now, gentlemen, no need to squabble. I wouldn't be thank you, but Martinez isn't the most wheel. Perhaps another time. Yes, officer. You look rather dazed. Like a stunned fox. But surely things can't be that bad. Oh my. You know where we are, right? That's right. And where is the whirling in rags cat? Yes, indeed. We are in the fine city of Revachol. Yes, great. See? We're getting somewhere. What else do you know about our city of splendor? How would I even begin to tell you? Revachol is the most beautiful city in the world. I haven't seen very many other cities personally, but everyone says so. Speaking of history, you know what year it is, yes? That's right, dear. How splendid. Here, take this pen.
Her relief is palpable. She was getting pretty worried about you there. But now...
I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government? Nope, sadly not. Revachol is what's called a zone of control, under an alliance of...
Meaning, buying is voting.
Oh dear. And you were doing so well. There aren't, but we should stop.
She's scared now.
Hello again, sweetie. Yes, dear.
A paraplegic is someone with limited or no ability to use...
That's quite all right. Whatever do you mean? Sequence...
A partner who'll need you to help him get a corpse. I can assure...
Now, gentlemen, thank you, but perhaps another time. Yes, officer. You look... Oh my. That's right. And yes, indeed. We are in the fine city of Revachol. Yes, great. How would I even be? I haven't seen. Speaking of history, that's right, dear.
Her relief is
I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government? Oh, sweetie. It's really not. There used to be people who thought that way. Revachol is his own.
but they still have cops.
It is quite disappointing, yes. A lot of people would like some form of representation. Oh dear. But we should stop.
She's scared now. She's realized you really are brain damaged.
A defeat, I'm afraid. The people of this archipelago tried to build something new, something different. The rest of the world didn't like it, so it has something to do with everything. I really don't know how to. You were doing quite well up until the end there. It does look like you're having trouble remembering things.
A sigh. The lieutenant.
But maybe a fresh set of eyes is what the world needs. Someone more educated in sweeping matters.
No. I'm not an encyclopedia.
Of course. Then I don't know. Someone rich, maybe? Wealthy people are educated.
That's a good point. This. The tracks are as they have ever been. A bit more worn, perhaps. There he still is, looking. The ammonia only. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
Nor does the wind. I've seen strong men turn themselves inside out for hours. You are facing tough odds here. Alcohol withdrawal makes it No, you need to get your shit together. We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind... Give it half an hour. Get...
This trash container is locked. The sliding with a well-oiled crack. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows, the methodology in your fingers. No, searching for evidence. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Baptiste Soleil cereal. There are among the threadbare kitchen towels, something as the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the...
The victim's clothes? Cadaver in odor is faint. If these belong to... Drop them in here, officer. Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty. Or empty. He wore them with a belt, too. The belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything?
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of ribbed shirt that's...
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard.
The fuck's he on about? Kids? You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an...
See? Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes.
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the... It's just organic waste. Cold nothing. It's nothing. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, is that your paperwork? Yes, it is. Look. This plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash? Officer, this is an official piece of paperwork. It probably contains notes on numerous ongoing investigations, and could even list undercover operatives.
Easier said than done. How could this pathetic cabbage of copy paper and plastic ever become très disco?
It will also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Anyway, where were we?
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist only in its social sensibility. The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? It's a metaphor. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off with your finger and voila! The ledger now looks marginally better. An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. Its rectangle looks like an official mark, made to be low visibility outside.
What? That thing. It's a halogen watermark. We use it for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has...
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will... All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine too.
This means you can read the water.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden paper, they're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching... Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages. Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases. What do you mean? Is that all? The notebook is annual. It says 51 on what remains of its cover. A molten strap of cardboard, Everything prior to this must have belonged to a previous volume. In short, there was more.
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it. 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. I prefer a normal caseload. It's a matter of method.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number, a title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Others appear more light-hearted. The guy's on a couch in an unexpected location. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists again, in your defense. I seem to have named one, the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still I pray his loved ones never find out. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain once all the tasks are accomplished. The case is complete. The tasks you've completed flow out of the kind green ape pen in a brash freehand similar to the inspect, the interview, the cafe. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you're a swashbuckler with that pen, Harry, and it feels good. Feels like things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is...
No, actually. Any ideas? Furies. Yes, well, I don't know. I have to be honest, I'm not experiencing the internal strife that Could you make it less poetic somehow? Just a normal case.
Yes. You know what that normal name is, but it's so plain. Anything else?
Great. That's great. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further. Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB 41. Then, why yes, your precinct, every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your Harry Dubois. HDB still feels like there's something missing from that. No, the alphanumeric begins with HDB. That's comforting to hear. Now, detective, it takes half an hour to piece one of these together, if you still want to. Here are your options. Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the, like the bits they put into public piss bowls, probably called Fermi Discrete. Remember when I said the smell of the upstairs bathroom was so rank they should have sent a poet to describe it? Why, yes it is, among many other things. This cleaning tablet is used by the whirling. It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat something rattles inside. And something small inside, light, Made of paper permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for permeable materials. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it. With your hands, you 4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board. The 2 sides of the board appear slightly. The slides snap back into place. Without resistance, 2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. 2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium, thin wax paper, has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns. It smells of chewing gum. A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti. Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and as Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it. Throw it away, please. Your hand shakes holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep, every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on. To what?
Detective, he said.
There is nothing. Again. Nothing sad, brother. No treachery. Just well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you. That's me. Blue eyes, that's me. Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion.
The call when you're
Here in the paleo-mammalian, because it's always there.
Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
Beautiful. Believe
Your name is fuck all.
it certainly ain't Harry. Your name?
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no light. You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules. No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
Yes. They're pouring something on you. It's in you.
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness. In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket, the
Drink. Water.
water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life. It's
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on ice?
with greedy gulps. You down half a liter of cold water. Some of it
What happened? That does sometimes happen.
He replies with such understanding, it's as if the burnt-out ruins of the...
You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed? Good.
Advanced race theory. Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind...
Does Kuno care? You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed. Shit. Get the
You can't do that, Kuno.
pigs can't displace. Can't do that teleport How did you like it in there, pig old boy? Kuno's got a lot of cool shit there, right? That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric. Kuno Shazam.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old, but you could have that sparkle in your...
Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape.
What?
What is this shit? Fucking on yourself. This is weird level shit.
Fuck your shit back to normal. What is this?
Well played. No one saw that coming.
It's a vitamin pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game.
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno. He's gonna use it against you, Kuno.
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like...
Fuck you, pig. Don't do mag. You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno. The fuck do you want with good call, Pigmeister? Don't come and talk to Kuno about his... The fuck about it? You're tested.
Get lost,
Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want? Yeah, Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen, listen. Kuno doesn't care. Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags.
You'd have to be blind not to notice the giant white letters F-A-L-N running down his trouser leg.
Look, Kuno ain't seen shit lying around, except for that.
The lieutenant remains silent, but his expression couldn't say, I told you so.
Pig, these are foul modulars, liquid fit, performance crotch, urban survival shit. Believe it, you need this shit.
These could drastically improve your chances of survival in the urban wild. Coach Physical Instrument endorses these pants. They will also make you into an idiot.
All right, Piggo.
Don't do business.
As you can see, Kuno and C don't trust you. Can't do
There's more to his distrust than being a pig.
the fuck. A mug in the trash. Is this about the fucking clothes again? Yeah, Kuno sees where this is going. Kuno's got that fast brain. You saying you pigs are after the mug?
I can't hear you, Kuno. Speak louder.
Shit, that's tense. Someone's going to the beat-down basement, huh? Mug guy getting... Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he did...
Tell the Kuno who it was. He's curious.
Stop turning into a pig, Kuno. They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching.
Get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to... Dunno. Keep that garden.
Kit is a pejorative term used to describe people of South Seminese or Erie...
Yeah, that's what Kuno said. She couldn't handle the... Look, Kuno doesn't explain shit. Kuno...
Yeah, her. What was she doing in the greenhouse in March? Yes, it seems
Look at that fucking shit. You're trying to get Kuno killed. Fuck does Kuno know? Kuno's not a fucking acrobat.
The lieutenant takes a quick...
It's a trap, Kuno! Don't climb it, Kuno!
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't...
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. And the only... Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to ascend the carbon barrier. Go to the Whoa. What? A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
True. They never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks better, though. The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time, after all. It's nothing to worry about.
Trying to sneak up on me.
Apparently, she doesn't like people. Logic error.
Pig's come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out. Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. Trying to sneak up.
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper...
That's probably the door Evrat mentioned. We still need to get the key from this manana first.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. A sturdy metal door. The door rattled.
Stop banging on the... Doesn't matter.
From within comes the faint sound of a broom sweeping.
Ha! The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No. Go check the...
Backyard door. There must be another entrance to the east. Volumetric shit compressor. Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic...
Yeah, you better keep... at me when I'm talking to you. Hey, up here, Piggo. The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent.
The streets will not flow red with it.
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Sod off, pig man. Art is above the law.
A brush, an artist. The red splatter is urban expressionism. She turns her head to face the coast and nods hatred, disgust. It's difficult to the woman on the boat.
That Ozon whore. Someone's got to keep an eye.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days travel away from Rivershore. It's moneyed risk.
On a first-name basis with her, are we? It's where they grow whores like her. And they're whoremen. Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor. Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful... I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Have you ever tried your hand at graffiti-o? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginable. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cards. And my name's not Mona, so... This place is severe. I thought I'd mix it up, yeah? Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration...
She means the opposite.
I ain't no snitch, pigstein.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal...
We weren't put on this earth to make your life Watch your back.
Hello, hello. Let me...
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets display. The boomboxes wait on the shelves, and your boombox, that gold and amber. A typical Martinez streetlight sit. What a shirt. All other shirts pale in comparison. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start.
The dashboard lights up with orange glow, like a leopard waking from its sleep. The lights unfold with a little click.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlight. A rat brazenly darts past you and disappears amongst the stopped lorries. In the distance, a child somewhere.
Ah, Martinez. Let me see. Right here. Oh yes, Coal City.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate. The first row has 18 dots. Not bad for what? You don't even know what it means yet. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some. You count 216 perforations. Considering that nice, large number, a wave of pride washes over. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. Yes, that does seem quite likely. Your youth coincided with some heady. This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers. Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, there are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. Yes. Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights. Yes? What do you want to know? Oh, Good.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eye.
Ha ha ha! Again!
The corpse laughs at you, pus dripping from its mouth.
You will never be able to hold it in. It's...
Every time it happens, it gets worse and worse. There's nothing more to throw up now. All that's left is crying and convulsing dryly at the same time. There he still is, looking.
Ha ha ha!
There he still is, looking.
Ha ha ha!
There he still is.
Ha ha ha!
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now. As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a spell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand in it. It's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you is a puzzle of decaying flesh, tattoos, and tendons.
They do after 7 days, yes.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enamel boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above. The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast, delicate and fragile. They feel alien to the... These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots. Ceramic plate, zirconium dioxide most likely. This is what under the heel. Fair weather model T500VE. I'm piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. It would be odd if they didn't. We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know.
The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form.
It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabulary, for a full set, about 4 years of wages.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 rial, unadjusted.
Not too much, yes.
lieutenant nods, wiping his finger on his sleeve.
That's for us to find out. Mr. Gart implied he was security personnel for the harbor company. This confirms my own assumptions. Just something I scraped together from my station. An area report on Martinez. I'm sure you did the same. I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford.
A small bell-like sound fills the air. Like tap, the pry bar in your hand is itching for some action.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely. See?
Faint, organic lines cover the plates where they separate into smaller, like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by if trees were made of porcelain. This is what their cross-sections would look like. The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton, where you notice. The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination.
Good. Can you read it to me? We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
This feels dangerous. Are you sure? The stench fills your nostrils as you push.
Stop! Pig's gonna pull his head off.
Brutal! What's wrong with you, asshole?
I don't know, baby. I don't know.
Officer, if I may ask, what were you trying to achieve by putting on the deceased foot?
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos, and extremities blotched pink and blue. The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yet this is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for
airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes, motivated by the ongoing strike. You? Yes, it often is. This bell worries me. I was afraid it would be. Think a noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the...
Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory. The cadaver hangs from the cargo. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso. From the right shoulder to the sub, his corpse is marked by stars, alcohol, and heartbreak.
Of no nation that I know of. If anything, it reminds me of religious illumination, last or penultimate century. Men who live harsh lives often turn to inauthentic. I agree.
He wears a wide leather belt around his... He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears.
A Trigger Sunshine.
Triggered is the world's leading manufacturer of intercommunication devices, primarily...
Shit, Kuno!
An instant color camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper.
In case we need it. Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it?
There is only one ampoule left. Use it.
It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter, to us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around. Sure, just don't lose it.
The glassy-eyed corpse looks by. His eyes are milky white and blind to the world. Protruding comically, dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is the corpse is dead.
Who is he? He is male, 40 to 50, with an athletic build.
The corpse looks right through you as you distance yourself from its stench. Eyes. As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a... This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Does his position at the time of death match the Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the...
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good, well-pronounced...
The monster comes back into focus. An explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins.
So, what do you think? Agreed, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head.
You would still like the hypostasis marks in the neck to be a bit more pronounced.
Maybe it looks faint to you? It could be more pronounced, actually. Dûment noté. There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to... I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
He means you fucked him up good, Kuna.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilo.
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Malicious laughter erupts in the yard.
Big...
The lieutenant's face is made of stone.
I agree.
His personality is no longer
Totally dead. Absolutely.
But there is no breath to catch.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos, and extremities blotched pink and blue.
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good...
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material.
Yeah,
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Where? Ah, yes, I see. You just...
Yeah, now we're talking.
They'll miss. The pigs will miss, Kuno.
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said. Silence. With and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks, securing it in. That's a Kiel A9090. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye.
He's gonna fuck.
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that...
God damn it.
A lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow's desk was the wrong choice.
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he? Kuno's sorry too. Kuno...
The lieutenant doesn't say a word. Just look.
No, we are lucky as it is. Any more mistakes could... I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down with...
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot.
It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks. Go ahead. I'm not...
They only have...
This is the sorriest...
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana pointer. Take it and...
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal. You've held this, a P9 armistice, before. At some point it probably used to be your...
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno?
The buckle comes into focus in your sights.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
A plume of smoke There he still is, looking right through you. Ha ha! There he still is, looking right through. Ha ha ha! There he still is. As you breathe in, it's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you? The man before you is naked, but the material, delicate, these are clearly not.
Indeed. Ceramic under the heel. Piece by piece. We should keep a lookout for these species. No, I think he had...
Nice. That makes sense.
They usually hang them completely naked for that. La put...
Fucking...
Clearly, Kuno would like to interject something here, but there's not enough for him to hold on to.
It is. We've requested for a full...
For the northwest region of Revachol.
Not too much.
The lieutenant nods, wiping his finger on his sleeve.
That's for us to find out. Just something I agree. This
A small, the pry bar in your hand is itching. The metal connects with the same. The only difference is a barely audible click underneath. Sounds like the end of a long...
Did you hear that? A click? This is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads...
Faint, or like whirls of floorboards. If trees were made the smooth, the whirls are in a shape.
Good. Can you... We have a make and a number. That's something.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt. The man before you is the hangman's. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt. Big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo on...
Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to... I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes. Motivated, yes. It often is. I was afraid it would be. A noose is one of those things that ladder can't carry.
Could be. The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt, limbs limp and torso covered in tattoos. An intricate web, his corpse, alcohol and heartbreak.
A map of the stars. I do see...
As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice.
So am I.
He takes a thin...
Etrugetson.
Triggered.
An instant call. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule.
In case we need it. Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it?
There is only...
It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical... Sure.
The glassy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth... The man before his eyes are dark brown hair grows on his head.
I'm gone. Into the wild pale in the past. Way out. I'm a joke. Look at me. A killer. Go ahead. What do you mean? It's the power of your... Go ahead. Ask me more questions. You fucking... Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Do you want more? Here you go, loony. Fuck no. You're no Rooney. Listen to yourself. You're not a Raphael anything. You're probably just a Harry or something. That's right. Harry. You might be onto something there. Because you have. Come back later, Coppo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori. Of course. Do I remember?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
You sure wrinkled out of that one, Coppolini. Come back late.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair. As you narrow you, this is a trick. Only the lower extremity.
I see.
The monster.
So, what do you think? Agreed. Especially...
You would still like the hypostasis mark.
Maybe it looks faint to you? It could. There's always a chance. I agree.
His person...
Totally dead. That sounds about right, yes.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into...
The victim appears to have...
The fucky...
Talking about shit.
Malicious laughter. The lieutenant's face is made of stone.
I do.
Stop talking.
He means you fucked him up.
But there is no breath to catch. The man before...
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
He doesn't actually think the challenge...
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material.
Yeah!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope.
Where?
Yeah! They'll miss! The pigs will miss, Kuno!
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said.
What else can we do?
He breathes.
Oh yeah, do this shit! Fuck it up!
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said. Silence, and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks. Securing that secure, he then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches.
He's gonna fuck.
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off.
God damn it.
A lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow's desk was the wrong choice. He
Fucking idiot!
Kuno could have hit it easy. Kuno's.
The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at.
I have to say, it's beginning to look...
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself. The man with...
Yes, we do. It's bad. Go ahead.
This is.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banani boyka! Take it and shoot yourself in the...
The cold piece of... You've held this.
The fuck are you...
The buckle...
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
The buckle explodes into tiny pieces. With your hand numb from the recoil, you look at the body slumped down, looking straight at you. Helpless. Trapped with it.
Communism.
It takes a millisecond for the association to flash within your cortex. You have no idea where it's coming from. Only then, the rigor in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways into the spring mud, letting out a horrid stench.
By being a damn good shot. Ace is high.
The ace is high. A custom invented. You could add an ace's low to it, if you like. The high arrives with a sharp slap. As you turn around, there is a moment chill. But then it does, and with furious precision. The lieutenant is not one to leave.
I knew these guys were.
Kuno cracks with laughter.
I knew they suck each other.
We will perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death. But before...
Slumped on the ground like that has not improved the way the corpse smells.
It looks like I feel like taking a break from the stench. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. Just a little breather before we do the autopsy. I would suggest we interview Everhart and Joyce, the leader of the Union and the Wild Pines rep. But we've already done that, so it's up to you, detective. Take us where we need.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes look. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea. You must have me confused with the Copperpedia. You, sir, you are the Copperpedia.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity. I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes. Yes, you see, the field autopsy form is the one on red copier paper.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack above those an 11 field info form need.
That's you.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
KK57.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57, that's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Next. NA. Next. NA. Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. He nods.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Muindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens, motionless, with the cog.
None, at least not after the initial examination, interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem. They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-Delorian burial rite. Somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grong and So, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRI-8.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with it.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting some.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward. The boot has a serial number. It's E50.1. The tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hang, well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. generally consistent with age 42. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet. The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking. There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil.
Lividity is consistent with hanging, albeit faint, as noted. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity? Talking shit about
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below.
See?
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now. Like a flower arranger, you jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then the lieutenant looks by, somewhat worried as you summon power words to your aid. A really, really bad smell.
Yeah, fuck! Told you my pig was hot.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead.
Here. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the... Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Chest is intact. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact.
No! It's...
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades. Dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat.
We have a real... Last item. Hands.
His flesh is cold.
Pleased to meet you. Where are you from? And what's your name? I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. From Cappadocia. And your name is I did, Kobo, I did. Reminded me of when I was just a small boy. Before we should do this more often. Be close.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling. I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this... Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury-related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh.
Yeah, Jack, that...
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. And respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there.
Hepatobiliary. NA. Ah. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Neither am I. Same for toxicology and serology. NA. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list?
Shoot, Looney Rooney. Come back later, cop.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Oh, so we inflicted them? Okay, so there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention it. Better not to muddy the waters.
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. And your opinion, officer? Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator
At maximum velocity.
has confessed to causing it at
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp.
Right. Next. Nothing. Just in case. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
Why do you say that? Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal? Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty. At least for the time. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstance, I need a copy of that autopsy form. for processing.
You tilt your head, also look. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. Your arms reach out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your gloved hand crawls on his features. They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in. Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape.
The fuck is he doing?
The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider. The oral cavity is cold and moist. You're on the right track. The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearl, can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open, a vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar.
Kuno is silent. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for...
The fuck is that?
Ah, shit, see?
Yes, that's what this part is called. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian... This man will never sleep again. Never. Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures, the lieutenant answers with...
Fucking cavity, see?
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange, ice-cold, serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and into your finger. You pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisted...
My pig's fucking got it?
What is it?
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping with a plop. Your hand emerges from the mouth. The garden glove is covered in blood right up.
Fucking...
A bullet.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smatter.
A non-caliber. Rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact. Of course, you deserve it. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion, high velocity, temporary cavity in brain tissue, small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound? Opinion, fatal injury. We have extensive tissue destruction away from the wound track. We have a bullet. And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Treatment, officer, is an attempt to manipulate the body. This injury, yes, and the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead. I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. There have been other signs too, small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it does not explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. That's for us to find out. But to hide something. The real killer? The real motivation? What really happened here? Yes, we should take...
This little thing could reveal much about...
Oh, you really, really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the whirling in rags should come with a bathroom. We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my kidnap. I would drive him to processing, but it's too late. One more thing. This was really good work, detective. All right. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board. Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now. The words just crossed your mind somehow. Who do you think? It's slightly, ever so slightly. In the back, you see thin, then rip them from the binder and hand them out. 3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle ones are station calls. And you don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work. A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but they appear unpleasantly vague. These are quite sinister in turn. They give a date and time for the person, all in a print so small it could be considered downright a dozen pages of thin. Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Arson, petty theft. You don't exactly. It takes about half an hour to piece one. Not much has changed. It's the ledger you found in the trash. It takes about. This one is relatively easy. Cause of failure. The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes. A man. True love is possible. Only people call it that thing, and that the graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the lead. The case files do not show you finding the all. The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villa Lobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between 2 options. A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us. In any case, it appears to have been a rare case of civil activity in the quarter, and agreement as well. What do you want to tackle? AKA Leslie and Burke, AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed from Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirror. You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main. Can you keep yourself off the streets? Threatening fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in. Locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemiaki to take them out. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street. Because there they are, on the corner of perdition. And what is Leslie doing? Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so he must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. The officer is also drunk. Way more drunk than Burke there. And in the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open, You've smashed it, can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke, who knows, but both drunks are off the street. Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a discipline. It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. Who knows? Those paid. Don't worry. One day you may still catch the man with the square gun. Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it, in the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young, and they thought they looked cool on it. They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it to where they also took cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So, no, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be murder. Tum-tum-tum at the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead, of circumstances completely unconnected to murder at the hookah parlor. Beaten to death by a throng of Villalobos gang members when him and his partner J.M., only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story, and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling. Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve. Was doing it solo. Said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twist. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it. No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, he'd been on it for months now. Said it was okay. So the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day. Yeah. So anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of no one enters, no one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. No calls, nothing, just sucking on the hookah. Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin, movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom. Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, that was murder at the hookah parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed piecing it together. Next. Not much has changed. The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, to your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures after rifling the pages with your thumb several times. The magazine is divided into comrade. As you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's, but like the structures of capitalist ideology, So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on...
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. This section includes a long, tedious critique of... You also skip over an article about heavy fuel... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bear wrestling. It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara. According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extreme... Sapormat Sport Kanazinski is well into his third decade. It's quite straightforward. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support... That's very much the idea. President Kaczynski has long maintained that a strong body is the best defense against
The Samaran People's Republic? No, I should expect not. Why do you ask? They're quite the spectacle, as I understand. I've heard they make the people in the front rows wear play on account of the blood.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. It takes a moment, but as you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent... The main feature, though, is a long essay titled The Tip Top Tournée is an Inter-Isolari racing series, mostly known for its high speeds. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief cue. You think you're settling in for a relax. Instead, you find yourself... Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then, so, all of it, basically. Oddly enough, this article has two. There's no way those... Have you ever met anyone named Exilus? Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly... And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the... At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, it's the vision. That's because you haven't been reading critically. But don't...
Ah, come on. Can this article read your mind? Well, there you have it. No reason to... If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor.
You flip back to the front of... Unsurprisingly, much of this section, you skim the headlines. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin. Ah, this must be Gaston's handiwork. According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the... You flip back to the front. It's just a racist mug. What's the... Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? But it was in the trash. It's just a racist, but it will... The bullet is beside his orderly handwriting. The bullet looks especially...
What? Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say, find the weapon that shot me. If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it. Possibly. In conclusion, the more we know about it...
The squashed bullet. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge. The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are.
What can you say about the bullet so far? A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means you...
Something tells you that won't be anytime soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while. The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic. The bullet is still safely sealed away. The bullet is still safely a rifle, revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.4. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries.
What are you thinking? Bullet? Okay. And? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez or anywhere in Ravachol, really. Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws some new RCM recruits get impatient with their...
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second. But back to the investigation. Doesn't seem that likely. But we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself.
An intricate web of blue light. It still kind of looks gone. For you to discover. You've gotten as someone who knows about history could tell you. The worn map features the dented yellow mailbox. There is a hollow ring as you kick your toe has
Cool. You really showed that mail collector.
He does not actually think it's cool. If anything, the lieutenant feels sorry for the poor box. He's leaning in to inspect the layers of graffiti. The lieutenant pats the box, ever so slightly. Just an ordinary wall, nothing to see.
Trying to sneak up.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with at this late hour? Matter of fact, I don't. I have a medical condition of my own. Nothing unusual, though. Of course. That's what I'm here for. You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare? Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing some, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another?
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Weird. Which isn't to suggest our talks constitute corporate espionage.
The lieutenant might have, but I don't remember you logging anything as anything, Harry.
Oh.
The lieutenant looks at you, and he's able to contain the anger and surprise.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell...
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Of course, detect. Until then, is there any... That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. This reality. Ah, yes, the...
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on...
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the... You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The Reeds, it's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Yes. We're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest.
Known to the early Rivisholians as Les Immensités, vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her and to humanity at large.
Revachol? The great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries. The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile-Marat, in the DeLorean century. 300. They say it's where the terrible, by that I mean, conflict. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. Oh, we're quite a way off. About
A sparkle of lights on the nighttime horizon, reflecting
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
silence. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiate.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete.
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about...
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory... Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Messier will be here later too, and...
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were for the big time. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Why, of course. We're talking Duke out Central. Full No. I would say the apes were neutral. On the other hand, those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well.
She likes the totality of it.
Indeed. They piled them in mass graves in Ozon. And, well, did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. Yes, King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. Him and tens of thousands, the liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remain. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended.
We. She's one of them. Of course.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. The Liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The Coalition of Nations, Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sior. The Moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe, at least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional root. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment.
A devout man of the centre. Hard to come by. It's good. The turn of the century revolution. The revolution began in '02 on the east. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution from Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to quarter. Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
No doubt. But we share the same time and position. A city-state divided into free market zone. The zone of control is the third modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled. The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the...
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here. Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. 10 of the 14 Indo tribe. Good question. What would you have done differently? So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago? Good hygiene. Really. A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. It's when they failed to step up, Marzov and his party stepped in. In this particular...
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old.
Understandable. They are what they... Anyway.
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include, well, It's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use. That seems unlikely. A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games. Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A or 2. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate.
Splat, splat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she...
Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags. Ah, yes. There's something very... The girl in the old... Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of... Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food... She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no... Young people who dye their hair funny colours and wear old people's clothes are stupid. And their little rebellion... All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
And what would that be? I can see that, yes. I dabbled in those dark arts myself, not so long ago. Nothing infra about disco, baby. Those days are long behind me. And even in the early 30s, the new, a cultural era. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-coloured everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now, wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if you can remember...
For some reason, your mind is a veritable repository of Guillaume Le Million lyrics, trivia, and B-sides. But the time to explore this is when you're alone, facing a mirror perhaps. Right now, it would derail the reality lowdown. She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. I am an old...
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's... Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial... I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra...
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the home...
That dialect is obéissant. You recognize it a quote from somewhere.
Ah. Maybe you remember more than you let on. Despite whatever brain damage the alcohol may have inflicted. I hope so. I hope we are able to continue as friends, despite my... When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their... With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government, that I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the...
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched.
Then for my daughters, we had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than...
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
Perhaps.
You're no dummy yourself.
A smart boy getting smarter. One basic term of reality at a time. Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be...
Seditious talk, man.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez. The air suddenly feels calmer. It's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. I knew we could trust you. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that... Something with great... Someone shot him in the heart.
Okay. Well, Martinez is riddled. Why not?
The king stand. As you look up, a lorry stuck. The windows, fumes of heavy fuel oil. File cabinets, hundreds of, and the same material you already went. Remember, Leo, all items on the drawer. The payphone hangs mutely on the... This is the night. A rusting control. You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seemed no reply. The knock you attempt to your left. You're back before the cargo container. Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Because what wasn't an option? Now is not the time to get philosophical, detective. You can do that after hours.
Mister. I knew you'd be back to talk. Sure, mister. Absolutely. I'm always willing. Oh, that one.
Told you. Yes?
Before the cargo container. Promising, raise pupil. He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it, and... Fascinating. The Revacholian degenerate shows signs of racial self-reflection. How did you accomplish this little feat? So it would seem, Thrall of Rule. On one hand, this pathetic, and, of course, you will not be able to free yourself from the yoke of rule. It is true if the Revacholian degenerate is capable of critical thought, he may prove a rage.
Jean, baby, you did the heroic.
That is not possible. The game of Shahmat you play against, you will not. You cannot withstand them.
It's super hard, Jean.
Let's go, officer. Let's go do some work.
Clear you like the hard stuff, Bruta. Evening falls. The vows are blurred and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and fascism, Bruta. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut? Yes, Women. Women. Men of war. You don't like them. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing, stomach truth. Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good, okay. Yes, let's call it. That sounds much better. Traditionalism. You like the sound of that. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota. For the nation, smart. Best not to mention the women too often. That's why you're the head and I am the stomach. Of course you are, Bruta. The woman still.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help. Sure thing. Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday. They went their way.
Wait, then it might be true.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
Sure, man. I doubt it, but I can...
The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
Someone else...
This is a pawn shop, and it did. The lieutenant shifts.
Sure, man. I doubt it.
The pawnbroker's gaze is already... An old call box with a matrix.
Necromancer pig. That shit was dark. Going in there like that. Kuno dies. You're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kuno's gonna go out in hell. Kuno doesn't... Fuck does Kuno care?
It's not Kuno. It's Kuno S. Kuno S is by far the worst of the two. Kuno has no problem being near you, but the other hides behind the fence, afraid for... Also, Kuno hasn't stopped talking to you, even enjoys it from time to time. When you talk to the other one, it's like talking to a cornered animal. All in all, Kuno respects madness.
Fuck you whispering about?
He's whispering too. He's going with it. But watch what...
Fuck you whispering about!
She puts extra stress onto that word, expecting it will make...
If Kuno wants to whisper, he's gonna fucking whisper, okay? Let's whisper, pig.
This is it. You've got him. But be careful. You can still fuck this up. Don't make Kuno look bad in this.
Crazy? You don't know the half of it. She's not crazy. She's insane. Dangerous. She smoked him out.
Stop talking to him! Kuno, I'm fucking...
She understands what you're trying to...
Yo, see? Did Kuno not tell ya? Talk, pig. Kuno's got it under control.
You did it. They're separated. He's even turned his back to her, so she can't read his lips.
Fuck knows. She says it's the crazy people.
Sounds boreal, like something from the tundra and tiger-covered cutler, Isola. Far, far away from here. As far as possible, really. You mean evil little redhead...
Suroese? Like that man from Shelmdall shit?
Revelshot does have a small Suroese community. Or she climbed into a yakberry crate and was shipped over accidentally.
She's psycho. None of that kiddie psycho, cat burning shit. She does the real deal. Yeah. Snuff radio shit. Believe me, pig, you don't want to know.
And he doesn't even want to think about it. This isn't just another boast.
Kuno means she killed someone. That's right, she's a killer. Like,
His little green eyes are fixed on yours.
are you getting this? You think I'm fucking telling you a joke here? How hard do you think it is to kill a fat ass? Sweet talk 'em. She's probably killed a pig too. I mean, I'm pretty sure she has. Forget Kuno said that. Kuno was just shitting. Kuno was just running his mouth.
A cop would be too large for her to overpower. But a determined child of her size can still kill. The creature peers at you both from over the fence. There is something searching in her eyes. Kuno falls.
Kuno, there, that's it.
He usually looks you straight in the eye. A little something just crumbled there.
Fuck no, she's not my sister. Yeah, she was just there.
What was that, Kuno?
She was in the hallway, dripping wet, by the fucking shoe rack. Kuno's got no fucking idea. Her hair was all wet. I think she pissed on the floor too. She was there for 3 days, in the corner. Every time, I don't know, someone left the door open. Kuno comes home and she's sleeping under the desk, under the... Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit. Doesn't even see her there. Or thinks it's fucking cool. Yeah, she would have liked to fuck him up, but she didn't. Kuno wasn't around. Look, Kuno's gonna put you at ease.
He speaks the truth, my liege.
How's Kuno dealing? Kuno's dealing. Kuno's got this shit under control. Listen, listen. C is Kuno's go-to. Kuno's protecting her. You fuck with C, you fuck with Kuno.
This is what it all comes down to. He needs you.
I'm going to kill you. I'll run when you put the cuffs on her, sneak up on you later, and fuck you up. You understand? All right. Now we can do business. Yeah? What do you want? Kuno can hook you.
Oh, don't hook him up with
See? Relax. He respects the Kuno. Kuno made him. Kuno's gonna get you hooked on illegal narcotics if you run a little errand for the Kuno. Get you hooked, pig. Get his hook in you. See? It's tension and release with Kuno. Now we releasing. The Kuno flexes for hobos. Kuno sees you're in need. Kuno doesn't... Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno gets it from his problem is, Kuno and his dad had a little falling out. Now Junkie's clawing at Kuno's door. Dirty Popo man is you. Kuno's dad is a fucking monster. He's the most violent man in Revachol. He doesn't give a shit about a single thing. He drinks too.
Are you sure you can take on the most violent man in Revachol? In your condition?
Like half. A baggie, but like in this vial.
That's half a gram.
Yeah, half a G. Want it or not? Fuck you talking about half a G? This...
You can barely see it because there's barely any.
Okay, Kuno's listening. Sure, whatever. If you survive, make sure to bring Kuno's violent dad's got Kuno's key. So you need to fuck your way in there, go to the pier side, bang on the door till the cleaning gimp lets you in. That's how Kuno does it. Then you go to room 12 and kick down the door, police violence style. That's what Kuno does. That's it. Next time Kuno sees you, you better have his sh.
What the hell are you signing us up for here? Okay then.
Kuno doesn't...
I'll die before I squeal, pig. You don't want to fuck with me.
You can still see the top of her hat from behind the...
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Murder was the case. I'll die before... What's this kid shit?
Get the fuck out of...
So it's a girl. A sturdy metal door. The door wrapped
Stop banging on the... Doesn't matter.
from within.
The police. No. Go check the backyard door.
Backyard door. There must be another entrance to the east. This must...
That's probably the door.
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you felt how strange. I certainly didn't put them there. I think Fugue stayed. Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for the trash collection service, CS Municipal. I don't see why they...
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threats that solves it. Thank you anyway.
Yes? Can I help? God.
Oh, but he should be. Lay it on him.
Wonderful.
It is. It's what?
What? What does that mean? Cock carousel? God, does it mean you talked to her? What else did she say?
What else do you need? He looks at you, spinning your arms, then leans on the corner and sighs.
She broke the bird, you know. The great skewer. I found it on the ground with the... I should have known. It was her way of telling me to piss off. I should stuff it up my...
Or you broke the bird. It can also be that. I think Sylvie even. Yes, the bird is connected to this. It's a symbol of hope, and she broke it.
Huh. Cock carousel. I think I understand now. That's what they ride. They ride the cock carousel until the clock runs out. Here, have the rest. Now, let me have a drink and think about this shit for a moment. On my own.
And there we have it. Isn't that beautiful?
Can I help you?
The door is closed. Still, the lieutenant gives you a quick glance.
Yes?
This is the door to...
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then